Hello there. Now I'm doing a guide for, without doubt, the most execution heavy fight in Super Punch-Out for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System for single segment speedrun. I'm doing a guide for, without doubt, the hardest fight in the game for speedrunning. Because not everyone seems to know what to do on everything, and hopefully this guide will clear a lot of that up. If you're watching this video, you can grab a drink or you can grab a snack or something, because I do not know how long this video will be. I'll be showing some of the inputs on this controller. This is my Super Nintendo controller. And I have a notebook right here that has the pages in it. I did not write everything that's gonna be mentioned in this video, but I wrote a majority of that, and that took a ridiculous amount of effort. So hopefully this guide will clear a lot of that up. And without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so one thing you need to know about the Nick Bruiser fight are some terms. You need to know what you need to do, whether or not you hit a frame perfect counter or whether or not you don't hit a frame perfect counter. The good news is, if you're a beginner, you're probably not going to hit a frame perfect counter anyway. So you don't need to worry about that if you're a beginner. That's just if you get to the highest levels. And hopefully this will clear a lot of that up. So no matter what, no matter if you're going for a frame perfect counter or not, you start the fight by buffering 2 left jabs. So here's how it goes. Start the fight by buffering 2 left jabs, and then you have to react. I recommend playing on console. I don't recommend playing on any emulator or any virtual console. I recommend playing on a real I recommend playing on a real Super Punch-Out cartridge and on a real old school Super Nintendo to make this a lot easier. Because the window to hit these after you buffer these 2 left jabs, you have to react to see what he sets up to throw. He can throw his first punch either high or low with a 50% chance of each. So, and the window to react to this is barely in the limits of human reaction time. Don't worry if you're having trouble hitting these counters. It is not easy. I cannot even do it every time. I can do it sometimes, I can't do it every time. So, it's the toughest thing to do in the entire game. So, one note about that first punch. He always throws it at the exact same time. And he always throws it with his left hand. So, you have to use your right. So, that means you always have to use your right. So, he's guaranteed to take the first 2 punches in phase 1, as long as they're buffered. So start the fight by buffering 2 left jabs and then react. If he brings his guard up, you have to counter with a right face jab. If he instead brings it down low, you counter with a right body blow. And then when you counter him, you have to buffer left jab, tap duck, right body blow, left jab. And then he'll be dizzy. And then you just do a buffer sequence to send him down. Dizzy buffers. Here are the dizzy buffers. Off of a left jab, if you dizzy him with a left jab, your buffer is 2 right body blows and then 2 low supers. If you dizzy him with a right jab, your buffer is 2 left body blows and 2 high supers. If you dizzy him off of low rapids, it's 3 left jabs, right jab, low super. But if you dizzy him off of high rapids, it's 3 left jabs, right jab, high super. So, using this strategy, once again, of course, if you take your controller, here's how you would buffer the inputs. Up and Y on my controller, see? And then I'll let go immediately, hold it again. So that does 2 left jabs. Now, after you hit the counter, you buffer left jab, right jab, left jab. If I take my controller here, here's how I buffer a tap duck into a right body blow. Here's how I do it. If I take my controller, the way I buffer a tap duck is after doing the final left jab while he's stunned. So after you counter him, you do left jab, right jab, left jab. Then after that left jab, I hold the down button while he's doing his previous move. I hold the down button. And as soon as Mac starts his duck, I'll let go of the down button. And then, if you press, the tricky part here is you need to buffer this into a right body blow. But if you press B too early, you're going to cancel the duck with a right body blow. Instead, what you need to do is you need to wait until he is halfway from coming back up. And then hold B. And then after that, you just hold up and Y to buffer a left jab. And then you just do 2 right body blows, 2 low supers, and he's out. And that's pretty much it for phase 1 with no frame perfect counter. Now we'll go on to the strat if you do hit a frame perfect counter. Okay, so if you hit a frame perfect counter on Nick, what you do is always start the fight buffering 2 left jabs and then countering whether right jab for high, right body blow for low. But if you happen to hit a frame perfect counter, the strategy's going to be a little, you are incredibly lucky. The strategy's going to be a little bit different. What you're going to do instead is you're going to buffer after hitting the counter. If you know it's a frame perfect counter, you'll know if Mac does his movement a little bit faster than normal. That's how you know it's a frame perfect counter. After you've hit the frame perfect counter, you want to buffer left jab, right jab, left jab, right jab, left jab, right jab. So it's left, right, left, right, left, right. It's the easiest way to remember that. They have to be to the face. They cannot be to the gut. Because face punches are faster. And then the DZ buffer this time is going to be 2 left body blows and 2 high supers. And here it is, just in case if you want to look at it. Because I know that can be complicated at first. And now we'll go on to phase 2. So, at the start of phase 2, this is the good luck. If you get the good, you want to start off by buffering the left jab. If he takes the left jab, you're good to go. That means you're going to counter him, whether left body blow for low or left jab for high. But this time he can either throw it immediately or he can delay a little bit before throwing it. You have to react if he does that. So, you're going to throw a left body blow for low or left jab for high. No matter what the delay is. And then after you counter him, what you're going to do is you're going to buffer a right jab, and then immediately afterwards, buffer a high super, and then the fight is over. And that's all you have to do in phase 2. So, now, we're going to get to the part where we talk about phase 2, this time with the bad luck. Okay, so if you get the bad luck, if you get blocked in phase 2, if he blocks your left jab in phase 2, what you're going to do is you're going to dodge his punch and then punch him with either a left body blow if he punches low or a left jab if he punches high. Because that's very important. Because if he punches low and you punch high, you won't hit him. Or if he punches high and you dodge and you punch low, you won't hit him because he blocks it if you do it wrong. That's why I'm mentioning this. So you dodge his punch, and then punch rather with a left body blow if he punches low, or a right, or a left jab if he punches high. Excuse me. So left body blow for low. So if you get blocked, you dodge his punch and then punch him with either a left body blow for low or a left jab for high, and then you're gonna buffer low super, high super. If he takes the high super, the fight's over. But if he dodges a high super, it's not the end of the world. There is a backup. Basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna dodge his next punch and then do rather low rapids if he punches low or high rapids if he punches high. And then you're hoping those will bring him down. There are very, very rare circumstances to where he'll block the last rapid. But if he does block the last rapid, what you're going to do is... So what you're going to do, if he does block the last rapid, is you're going to dodge his next punch, and then you're going to do low rapids if he punches low, or high rapids if he punches high. That's all you have to change if that happens. But that won't come around too often. If you get blocked, if he blocks your high super in phase 2, you do the same thing. If you get phase 2 bad luck and he blocks your high super, same thing as if he dodges it. Just dodge and do rapids. That's all you have to do. It's pretty simple. And then now, I guess we'll go on to phase 3. Okay, phase 3. Phase 3 is rather simple. Phase 3, there's 3 different refills in phase 3. Low refill, high refill, or mid refill. You can get low, mid, or high. The low refill is if you did not get hit. And then the high refill and the mid and high refills are if you did get hit. If you did get hit, you have a random chance of either the moderate refill or the high refill. But if you did not get hit, you're guaranteed. That means if you did not get hit, you're guaranteed to get the low refill. That means you'll be guaranteed to get the low refill. And all you have to do is buffer a low super, start phase 3. And then after that, if he takes the low super, the fight's over. If he dodges it, it's not the end of the world. There is a backup. That means you have to dodge his punch and do low rapids if he punches low, or high rapids if he punches high. But if you're tight and he punches low after you dodge, you can do a low super. But if you're not tight, just do low rapids. But if he punches high, you have to do high rapids no matter what. I guess we'll move on to the mid refill next. Okay, so we're at the mid refill now. So if you get the mid refill in phase 3, just buffer a high super. The reason why you have to do a high super this time instead of a low super is because, plus it's extra damage control, and if he takes the super, the fight's over, but if he dodges it or blocks it, what you're going to do is dodge his next punch and do high rapids if he punches high, or low rapids if he punches low. But if he happens to sucker punch you while you're trying to do your high super, that happens, but it's rare. But he just needs to buffer a left jab after that, hoping it lands. If it don't, no big deal. And then just dodge and counter until you get your super meter up, and then dodge his next punch and do rapids. That's all you have to change for situations like this. This can happen if he does a low. This can happen for both the low super variation and the high super variation. It can happen for both. So I just want to point this out. Now we'll go on to the bad refill in phase 3, which is worst case scenario. Alright, so what you're going to do if you get the high refill in phase 3 is you're going to buffer a low super to start. If he takes it, you're good to go. If he does take it, what you're going to do is you're going to dodge his next punch and do low rapids if he punches low, or high rapids if he punches high. And if you get blocked anywhere during the rapids, just dodge his next punch and do rapids again. That's all you have to change. Excuse me, it's pretty simple. The hardest part is hitting those counters on him. Like phases 1 and 2 for hitting those counters. That's the hardest part. But and then that's all what's in my notebook. But now we're going to talk about the backups if you mess up. Let's say you did not hit the counter in phase 1. I'm going to talk about the backups. Okay, let's say you buffer 2 left jabs and you miss the counter in phase 1. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to buffer another left jab. If it lands, you're going to... And then hoping it lands, but if it does not, you're going to dodge his next punch and do another combo. But if it does land, what you're going to do is just you're going to buffer one more left jab and hope it lands too. And then you're going to dodge his next punch and then start your combo with whether a left body blow if he punches low or left jab if he punches high. And then you're going to buffer right jab, left jab. And then you're going to keep buffering more left jabs. And just repeat this until you get your super meter full. And then after that, dodge the next punch. And then do low rapids if he punches low or high rapids if he punches high. If you get him DZ off this version of rapids, you're good to go. If not, just dodge it and do more rapids. And repeat it until you get him DZ. That's all I have to say. And then after this, if you DZ him with low rapids, your DZ buffer is going to be 3 left jabs, right jab, low super. But if you DZ him with high rapids, it's going to be 3 left jabs, right jab, high super. And then what you're going to do in phase 3, phase 2, in this circumstance is you're going to, you're going to dodge. You're going to start by buffering a left jab like you normally would, except this time you're going to dodge his punches. And then you're going to dodge, punch. You're actually going to dodge and then punch first and then do rapids. Excuse me. And then after you do those rapids, it's going to determine whether or not he'll get dizzy again. If he does get dizzy again, it's great for you. Just do the buffers I told you. Which are 3 left jabs and then a right jab, which are 3 left jabs and then a right jab, and then rather a low super for low rapids or high super for high rapids. And then, if you're in a circumstance like that, and then phase 3, you just have to, phase 3, just do the casual strat. That's all I have to say. Or you could just do these things. You have 2 options. Do the casual strat where you fight him casually, or do these strats of the strats I've mentioned, of the backups. Okay, so if you want to do an instant knockdown when he does his jump attack, buffers are, if it's off of a normal punch, off of a stun combo, 2 buffers you can do. Rather left jab, right jab, or quick duck, high super. And that will cover and that will get an instant knockdown off the jump attack. So, but if it's off of rapids, you just buffer high super. That's all you have to do. So remember you don't have to memorize everything I told you, but it's not expected you memorize all this, especially not very quickly, because this is a complicated fight. Like I've said, it's the most difficult fight in the game by a long shot. So, if you DZ him, let's say this time you get phase 1 correctly, and then you land a left jab in phase 2, but miss the counter in phase 2. It's actually a simple fix. You're just gonna buffer a left jab, and then you're just gonna dodge and punch until you get your super meter full, and then you're just gonna dodge, punch, do a low super, then do high rapids. That is all you have to change. And then phase 3. You just have to do one of those phase 3s that I already taught you. Whether you get the low, mid, or high refills. But if you got hit, you're going to get only the mid or high refills. But the only time you get the low refill is just if you did not get hit. And pretty much that covers it for the Nick guide. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to leave your questions in the comment section. And I'll be glad to answer them to the best of my ability. And then have a good one. And have a nice day, guys. Peace.